Guess what, everybody? There's a new Marvel movie out that we have to go see. It's great, isn't it?
I heard it's nuts.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. A24 in the last few years has really it's basically become a major studio, and in doing so, the bigger you go, the more you have to explore. Because for a bit, they were definitely more on like the drama, horror, kind of. Those are mainly their movies. Now they're doing a bit of everything, and this is a perfect example of something that was actually pretty good, which is Friendship, starring the comedian Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd, Kate Mara, and that's basically it. I can't think of anybody else in it. It's not out yet everywhere. It's very limited release because it's definitely A24 is also pretty artsy for the most part in whatever genre they go into. This is definitely one of them, but still pretty good. So if you have seen it already or if you haven't, we're not going to spoil it, so don't worry about it. But if you do like the video and if you like everybody involved, especially me and Burn, because we're always here, feel free to give us the thumbs up to show your support, ring the bell for notifications, and of course subscribe. We really appreciate you all for that, so thank you so much. Also, if you haven't already, we got our review of Andor season 2 along with, oh my god, what's the other movie?
Final Destination
Bloodlines. Thank you, Burn. I my mind is all over the place. I'm just thinking of, I'm already checked out for Memorial Day weekend because I got a 4-day weekend, so So this one, for those of you who haven't seen the trailers, because to be honest, the marketing is very lacking for this. Essentially, Tim Robinson just plays, this guy, very cringy, very weird dude who befriends his neighbor up the street, and it just goes. It's still very cringe throughout. It becomes kind of creepy. It's almost like it reminded me of like Ingrid Goes West and. What's another like stalker movie?
For me, it was definitely The Cable Guy.
The Cable Guy.
A lot like it.
Very much like it. It's creepy, like how Ingrid Goes West made me creepy because of all the stalking. But Larry the Cable Guy, or it's just the Cable Guy, not Larry the Cable Guy, but like the Cable Guy with Jim Carrey, where it was just weird and just very cringy too. So, because that's what Tim Robinson's known for. He's known for his very like deadpan face or just completely ballistic and freaking out on his stuff, especially in the show Burn got me into a little bit, which was I Think You Should Leave on Netflix, because it's a very sketch comedy show, and Paul Rudd's always just a gem, and Kate Mara never ceases to age, really. So this movie, like Tim Robinson's humor, for me, it's very hit and miss. Sometimes I'm dying laughing at the things he does. Other times I think the jokes just fly by me and I'm just not feeling it. This movie was overall really well done. It's almost like a horror comedy in very instances, like psychological thriller, but it's just so stupid the way they go about this. Mostly Tim. He's definitely the one who steals the show. Everybody is literally just there to help add on to the comedy, especially one scene that takes place in like a conference room. That one actually I really enjoy, but it's so dumb. Bird, what did you think about this movie?
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of Tim Robinson and his work. He's definitely one of my favorite comedians working today. I mean, I love I Think You Should Leave, even the brief stint that he had on The Characters, and then Detroiters as well. Just everything he does just cracks me up. So definitely for me, more so than you, I guess, his humor hits a lot more with me. So again, it's definitely one of those things with horror and comedy. It's a very particular taste, and this guy is definitely a very particular taste, like you mentioned. It straddles a line between cringe and creepy, and then just gets ballistic and crazy all of a sudden, and I just love it when he does that. So the way I would describe this movie is if you took his character from or characters from I Think You Should Leave and threw him in a drama movie, and like everyone else around him is pretty much normal, and he's the one that's just kind of like the odd man out. That's basically what you get here, and I was just having a great time with it from beginning to end. Because, yeah, I mean, like, again, there's a lot of cringy situations, again, that only he can get himself into. And then him trying to navigate his way out of it is always just hilarious to watch.
I definitely like the moments where he freaks out, because it was the sketches that you showed me, like, from this I Think You Should Leave, like, the drive-through. The pool one, even though he's more deadpan, it was still just the situation. He really does, he knows what he's doing with the comedy for the most part. So, I think it's because it's so cringy. Sometimes it just turns me off. Where I'm just like, oh, come on, like it just makes it worse. Like you're just digging yourself a hole. But that's that is the point, which you've stressed to me. So I really enjoy it. The more I think about it, and after the fact, I'm like, that actually was a pretty solid comedy. And it's one of those rare few that Byrne pointed out to me after we saw it. It's like it's just a straight up comedy. There's no like necessary like subgenre or like mixed in with something else. It's not like an action comedy, a romantic comedy. I know I said it's horror comedy, but even then, it's not scary. It's just it has like those elements with like the lighting, the tone, the way it was shot and stuff like that. Very much like a psychological horror movie in a way. But that's just because A24 really bends the way with their filmmaking. I mean, yeah, I guess I would say filmmaking. It's just, I guess, the way with their films in general. They really know how to pick the right teams of writers and directors to just help kind of create their brand. With all that being said, I'm going to give this movie... At first it was a 3, but I'm going to stick with a 4 out of 5 because it is very well done. The cast is great. There's a lot of good moments in it that's just so stupid. Like, there's no way it could be this bad, but it's pretty great. So, do I recommend it for everyone, though? Not necessarily, just because the comedy is very hit and miss. So, maybe if you're a fan of, like, Paul Rudd, Kate Mara and stuff, they're not really in it like that, so I wouldn't even go see it for them. If you just like the comedian, definitely worth seeing it. Or if it does come out everywhere, I would, if you're unsure, just go see it on a $5 Tuesday, because it's $5, So, yeah, but I did like this movie a lot.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, I'm very biased, and I'll definitely admit that. I would I would want a lot of people to see this because I mean I'm a fan of his comedy, and I think this movie is just really well done. I mean, I think it being sort of almost like a series of sketches wouldn't work normally, and there's definitely been some movies that just kind of feel like sporadic comedy scenes that don't really tie well together. But I think the reason that this movie works is the relationships that we do see in the movie between Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd, and then Tim Robinson and Kate Mara, who play the two big people in his lives. Their interactions together. Their what this movie has to say about adult relationships. Not only with friends, but your loved ones as well. Just in this weird, cringy, crazy movie, it does have a really interesting thing to say at the end of it, and it does have heart at the end of the day too. So I think that's what really makes it all work. Like, sure, you can have all these scenes that are like funny and crazy and hilarious, but you do need the emotional core of it to work. And I think it does a really good job here. I think Paul Rudd, Kate Mara, and Tim Robinson all work really well together, and they work really well with the material. And like you mentioned, the way it's shot is really inspired. Again, weaving in some like thriller, horror elements to punch up the comedy moments and stuff. So yeah, just overall really well crafted for a comedy. And like I've told you in our private conversations, it's one of the ones that that's just feels like a straight up comedy that we rarely get nowadays, and it's definitely one of my favorite that we got in the last few years, along with things like Bottoms, Joyride, or what was the
Game Night?
Game Night, yes, thank you so much. So yeah, it's like it's definitely up there for me, and yeah, I really did enjoy this one a lot more than I thought I was. I thought it was just going to be, again, a series of comedic scenes, but overall it was just a good movie from beginning to end.
Yeah, what was your? Did I miss your ranting? I'm sorry. Did you give it?
I don't believe I did. It is a 4 out of 5 for me as well.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, I think I heard you, Burn, but I just want to double check there. So thank you for that. Because when you start talking about one of your favorite comedians, just like I would, we all lose our train of thought. So, yeah, like I said, I believe Burn can correct me. It is coming out this weekend for everywhere. So, given it's also going up against Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch, but it's already been out in theaters at least, I think, a week or two, but just very limited.
Yeah, I think it's one of those staggered release dates where it's limited and progressively gets into more screens as it goes. But yeah, it'll definitely be in a lot more theaters than it was this past weekend.
For sure. So yeah, for those of you who did happen to check it out or plan on checking it out, feel free to give us a comment, let us know what you thought of the movie or anything like that. We'd love to keep getting everybody's input and keep the ranting going. So until next time, everybody, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch you all on the next one.